Hey, what's up guys? Got a new box in the studio today. I got my ceremonial unboxing knife, and this baby's a little something different. This is a lap steel from Beard Guitars, and I can't wait to bust it out and show it to you and see what this baby is all about. So let's pull out the ceremonial unboxing knife and dig in. All right, drum roll. See this baby. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. And man, just right off the bat, it's just gorgeous. That flame maple top is stunning. Let's get this baby out of here. All right, check this baby out. This is the Trailhead Lap Steel. It's an electric lap steel from Beard Guitars. And it's got two P90 pickups right here. Beautiful flame maple cap, flame maple top. I love the flame maple on the headstock here too. The body is chambered mahogany, so you can see it's a mahogany body. It's got that hardtail bridge right there, string through design. That's always killer sustain when you have that. Again, chambered body, and then they have this flame maple top over that chambered mahogany body. I love this too already. You know, like lap steels are all about sustain, and I can already tell just by looking at it before I play it, it's gonna be really good with the sustain, because it looks like it has this brass bar that goes across the bridge right here, and that nice thick brass bar, I just know looking at it is gonna sustain like crazy and have a great voice to it. Got the nut up here, nice tuners. I love this kind of aged, kind of brass looking nameplate up here. That looks really cool. Really classic look. The inlay looks like it's got, I think that's like a flame maple on the inlay there. It looks like some kind of maple inlay. Really nice kind of diamond shape. Wooden volume and tone knob there too. Really tasteful. All right. It's nice and comfortable too. You know, it's got a good weight to it. I can tell it's going to sustain good. It's got a solid neck here, but the chambered body actually makes it pretty light. So, you know, sitting down, it's not as big a deal, but if you're standing up playing the lap steel, it's really nice that it's not like a super heavy lap steel. So the reason I've got this lap steel in the studio today is because I'm going to be using this lap steel to film a new series, a new lesson series, all on lap steel, that's going to be at my instructional guitar website, justinjohnsonguitar.com. So I am going to like dive in right after this, you know, basically dive into filming that. It's going to be basically a complete introduction to lap steel for guitarists. Like, I think there's something cool about the relationship between lap steel and guitar. And, you know, historically, I don't know, a lot of people don't even know this, but the lap steel was the first electric guitar. Like before you had fretted guitars that were electrified, the lap steel was the first guitar to really have a pickup on it and get plugged into an amp. And there's so much history and so much cool, you know, so many cool like classic techniques and sounds you can get from a lap steel. And if you already know how to play guitar, it's a lot easier to dive into lap steel and learn how to play it. So that's what that series is going to be about. But let me get this baby plugged in, cranked up, and let's get to know it. All right, I just got it tuned up. It's an open E tuning, and I'm going to plug it in here and kind of get the feel of it. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to put it on maybe this neck position right here. I'm going through this Hughes & Kettner right here with a little reverb, and you know, kind of somewhere between dirty and clean tone. Let's just get a feel for this baby on the neck pickup. This baby just sustains so good, man. I love the feel of this lap steel. I love just the tension of the strings, the sustain you get from, you know, the combination of this, you know, mahogany body, the resonance from that chambered body, and this brass bar right across the bridge. It just has this crazy, beautiful, like warm sustain. It's like articulate, but it's warm at the same time, you know, so it's very vocal. You can really run a long melody line, like on a high string like this, like. It's like just still going, you know, and that's one of those things that's so hard to do with any other instrument other than like a lap steel that's designed to kind of create that sort of sustain. You know, just keeps going. And you know, that's one of the things that I think a lot of guitarists who are kind of wondering about lap steel, you know, at least for me, when I first started playing lap steel and was kind of curious about it, one of the big questions I had was like, well, what's the difference between just playing slide on an electric guitar or playing the lap steel? I mean, you could kind of play the same thing on slide on guitar is what I always thought at first. And what I realized is that when you have a lap steel that's kind of designed to be played with slide, there's no frets on this guitar, so there's no concept of fretting this guitar. It gives you a few advantages when it comes to playing slide. For one, you can use a lot heavier strings, so you don't have to worry about the neck bending. You don't have to worry about setting the truss rod and setting action for frets or anything like that. So you get a lot more sustain and you get a lot more tension pushing back at you when you're playing a lap steel like this that's designed for slide playing. The other thing is that if you notice, like the nut is, of course, is always straight on a guitar or a lap steel, but usually on a guitar, the saddle over here at the bridge will be, you know, it won't be straight across. Like it won't be like this. It'll have adjustments, and those adjustments are there so that when you fret the notes, the intonation's going to be good. Again, on the lap steel, you're never fretting anything, so you can have a nice straight bridge. And what that means is that when you play the slide and you have it straight here, you have it straight here, just the intonation is going to be much more dialed in when you're playing slide. And it feels totally flat too, you know. Most guitars, like fretted guitars, have a radius to the fretboard, so they're rounded. And so the strings are also rounded in a way that mirrors that radius to the fretboard. With a lap steel, it's totally flat. So again, it's designed to be nice and flat, right up against the slide or the tone bar, whatever you're using. And it just makes playing a whole lot easier. It makes the chords sound more in tune and just sound more uniform. And you can just do things on the lap steel that you just can't do with the slide on a guitar if you're kind of playing it like a guitar. Man, you know, these P90s just bark. I love them. There's something special about like the breakup that you get from P90s. You know, they're single coil pickups, but they really have like an aggressive kind of humbucker sound. And I'm gonna experiment with the tone knob a little bit here. So I'm on the middle setting, so I've got, you know, both the bridge pickup and the neck pickup engaged right now. And I love it because like I've got the treble all the way up right now on the tone, and it's such a nice fat beefy sound, but it also has a lot of clarity to it, you know, and that's what I like about the middle position here. So you can hear the clarity in the low notes. But you also get that nice beefiness, you know, and the melody notes, like the high notes, are the high strings are warm still. So again, like it's not just like they're bright and cut through, but they have a lot of body to them. And so let me dial back the tone though and kind of get like a warmer sound to it. So nice, man. And again, the sustain is just incredible on this. And that's again the thing that is hard to dial in with a lot of lap steels, but that's the thing that gives the lap steel that singing voice, or it sounds like a string section sometimes. So another thing I love is that like with the volume, you know, the volume and tone knobs have great response. You know, you can tell when it's really well done and it's wired right and you have high quality pots here. You get to change the whole range of the pot, like the tone knob. You can hear it change in the tone the entire, you know, motion of the pot. Same thing with the volume knob. Like if I turn the volume down a little bit, I can kind of get that clean tone. So like at full volume, I've got this kind of like lead tone. And when I play softer, it kind of cleans it up. But if I want to kind of go to a clean tone, I'm going to dial this back to like 70%. You know, you retain a lot of the volume, but it really changes the output a lot, you know, and I love when you can control it like that with the volume knob. And then if you want to go into lead mode, you just roll that volume up a little bit. Back to rhythm guitar. So much control, you know, it sounds like I'm using different pedals to do that. And it's all about setting the amp just to that point of breakup when you're at full volume, and then dialing that back. It's such good tone, man. These pickups are so like, they're exactly what you want out of P90s. You know, like if you get like, I guess cheaper P90s, they don't have that character, you know, they don't have They might have a little growl, or they might have that kind of lo-fi quality. But when you really have a nice P90, what they give you is they give you that vintage sound, you know, like that kind of like beefy but vintage single coil sound, and it sounds perfect on a lap steel like this. I also love, again, the sustain and the warmth and the body of this. It's got to be coming from the mahogany in conjunction with that, you know, maple top. There's just such a nice balance. A lot of times if you have that warmth and you have that body and that low end, the low mids that you get from like a darker wood like mahogany, sometimes that can take over and you lose the clarity. And so again, just a perfect combination of clarity, body, sustain, and the ability to control the tones you have with the electronics. Just love it. So let me pop this into a minor tuning and kind of get a different mood going. So right now, again, E major tuning, I am, the strings are E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. And all you have to do to get to E minor tuning is keep everything the same, but lower that G string down a half step to a G. So it's going to be E, B, E, G, B, E. So let me just dial that down. The stability, like the tuning stability on this is nice too, because you know, a lot of times with the guitar when I'm changing between open tunings, I really have to then retune it like, you know, 2 or 3 times sometimes, because with all of the tension changing on the neck, sometimes the neck will move. With this, it's really simple. Like I move that string and that's basically the only thing that I have to worry about. And again, I think it's because with the lap steel, you know, you have this nice big solid piece of wood for the neck. It's not like something small that you have to be able to get your hand around. So that adds a lot to the tone and also to the tuning stability with these heavy strings on there. Okay, so now you can hear the difference. This is E minor tuning. Man, that extra sustain is so nice for those long, kind of like ghostly spaghetti western kind of runs, you know. Something so cool and evocative about that. Or when you do a harmonic and you run it up. Keeps it going for so long. It's so nice to be able to do that. Just sounds just like a singer. Looks like we've summoned the ghost of Yote. What's the ghost of Yote, you ask? I'm glad you asked. So recently I was contacted by PlayStation to record some lap steel for the soundtrack for the video game Ghost of Yote, which just came out. And you know, again, they specifically wanted that like spaghetti western style lap steel. There's something about that sound, especially in this like minor tuning, you know, when you could just hold a note out or a chord. It just has that vibe, you know, that you can't get any other way. Even the single notes, you know, they're so vocal and they're so dark and sinister, especially in this kind of tuning. You know, and that's the thing that just conjures that feeling. You know, there's something super evocative about the lap steel and the way that, you know, the slide and the sustain and the way it kind of creates this vocal thing that sounds like a voice, but it doesn't. It sounds like a guitar, but it doesn't. And it really fits in this pocket that no other instrument can. It's also, you know, there's so many ways to play the lap steel. Like a lot of times when I play the lap steel, I'll play it solo, you know, I'll be playing multiple parts at the same time. But a lot of times the lap steel, what it's best at sometimes is either just playing chords that accompany something and add that vibe, you know? Just when you slide up to a chord like that from like a one fret below, give it that vibrato. It sounds almost like a chorus of singers or something. Those kinds of things, you just can't do that on another instrument. And then you have those nice, beautiful singing, like vocal melodies, where again, you know, you could do that on slide guitar, but it wouldn't have the same sustain. It wouldn't have that note that kind of carries forever, you know? There's just something about it. The range of the lap steel too, like what I just did at the end there, is something that is particularly, you know, that the lap steel particularly accommodates really well. Like if you want those really high notes, you know, like even up here, this would be like the 24th fret on a guitar, you'd be really reaching for it. But it's so nice to be able to like run those melody lines up as high as you want. All right, I am just loving this. It is exceeding my expectations, and my expectations were pretty high for this. Visually, sound-wise, feel-wise, sustain-wise, I'm just in love with this, and I can't wait to dig into teaching my new course at justinjohnsonguitar.com. Again, this new lesson series that I'm going to be recording with this lap steel, it's basically going to be like lap steel for guitarists, or like the guitarist's guide to lap steel. I'm basically going to be teaching you how to transition from guitar over to lap steel, how to understand some of the tunings, how to understand mainly the left hand technique is the main thing you have to learn, because a lot of the right hand technique can easily be transitioned over from guitar to lap steel. So again, if you have some muscle memory built up, if you're already comfortable playing guitar at whatever level, it's going to make learning lap steel a whole lot easier. So I'm going to dig into all of that and really give you a nice foundation for transitioning from guitar to lap steel and understanding how to make you know, great music on the lap steel. If you want to check that out, again, go to justinjohnsonguitar.com. I've got all the information about that lesson in the description here on this video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. While you're here, make sure you subscribe, and see you next time.